Good morning, class. Today we're going to talk about your semester final a little bit, and we are going to do a quick study guide and review. So for your semester test, you are going to have a test on the elements. So we talked about the elements all semester long, so let's quickly go over them and kind of make you guys your own study guide. So what I want you to do is I want you to get out a sheet of paper and a writing utensil and write along with me, and we're just going to kind of do some notes to help you write down exactly what you need for your study guide. Okay, so we're going to do the elements. Of art. So all semester long we've been talking about the elements of art and been doing different projects to kind of spotlight the elements. So we're just going to go through them, write out the definition, write some examples, things like that, so you guys know exactly what to study for your test. So the first element is line. My favorite definition for line is a line is a dot that went for a walk. So a line is a dot that went for a walk. So you could go on a squiggly walk, you could go on a spiral walk, you could go on a curved walk, right? All of these things pertain to line. The next one we're going to talk about is shape. All right, shape is always going to be two-dimensional. So it's going to be two-dimensional. It's going to have an enclosed area. And so this can be either geometric. And those are just your basic shapes, like a square, a circle, a triangle, rectangle, any of your very basic shapes. This could also really be organic. These are your shapes that are found in nature. So it could be a tree. This could be a leaf. This could be a flower. Anything found in nature, or it could just even be kind of a squiggly line like this, are all organic, or you also have a regular, which is kind of a mix of both. It's kind of more like a shape, but that's pretty much very similar to organic, and you could count that as organic as well. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is form. So the main difference between shape and form is that shape is two-dimensional and form is going to be our three-dimensional shapes. So three-dimensional, and it takes up space. So this could be things like a cube, a pyramid, a cone, a sphere, okay? All of these things, they all take up space and they are three-dimensional. Your next element is value. So with value, this is the lightness or darkness of a surface. So basically when you are doing value, it's just going from light to dark or dark to light. So I'm going to grab a pencil to show you guys this a little bit better. But basically it's just going really, really dark and kind of doing that gradient scale and getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So you can really see that goes really, really dark to medium to light, and then it just fades to white. So that is your value. So you will also have midtones, highlight, coarse shadows, cast shadows. So you will always have these things when you are doing a form, but you could have value when you are just going from light to dark. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is color. If you remember from our color theory, color is basically perceived light. So it's the way that light is perceived off of a surface. So you will have a few different color things that you really need to know. So you have your primary colors. Okay, so you'll have your primary colors, secondary colors. So your primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And your secondary colors are orange, green, and violet, or purple, as you might know. The next element is texture. The texture is basically just the surface quality of an object. So you could have real texture, which is just something that you can feel. You can have simulated. So this is artistic illusion. Meaning, let's say that the artist showed texture in their artwork by making it look like a surface was rocky when indeed the surface was actually flat, right? So they just simulated that texture. And then you also have invented texture, which is when a surface doesn't actually exist on the object. So it's like if you had a cactus texture on a balloon, something like that. Okay, the next and last element we are going to talk about is space. Let me move this up so you guys can see it a little bit better. So space is used to create an illusion of depth. So let's write that down. So it's used to create depth in an artwork, and it also has positive and negative space. So positive space, that occupies space, and negative space, it's the absence of space. So there's nothing there. Okay, so those are all of our different elements. So once again, you have line, that is a dot that went for a walk. Shape is two-dimensional enclosed area, and you can have geometric or organic. Form is three-dimensional. It takes up space. So this is like your cubes, cones, spheres. Value, light to dark. Color is the way light is reflected off of a surface. You have your primary colors and your secondary colors. You also have your tertiary colors, but I'm only requiring you guys to know your primary and secondary. Then you have texture. Texture is the surface quality of an object. You could have real texture where you could actually physically feel it, or simulated where it's artistic illusion. And then you have space. Space is used to create depth, so you have positive space and negative space. Remember, positive occupies, negative is absent. There you go. Study this up, write all of this down, and make sure that you have all of this memorized for our upcoming test.